There are a ton of free VR games, and lots of amazing ones I'm sure you've never heard of. So in this video, I'm going to be ranking the best free VR games. We have to start with Gorilla Tag. It's basically the VR game everyone's heard of. Simple idea, but insanely addictive. The movement feels great, the community is massive, and there's always something going on with all the updates they got going on. It's been around for a while, but it's still one of the most fun VR games out there. The VR community on YouTube is practically built on Gorilla Tag, and a lot of other games we're going to be talking about in this video actually take inspiration from it. So yeah, let's put Gorilla Tag in an A tier. And at the end of this video, I'll reveal to you guys which game deserves the S tier. Orient Drift is just such a cool game. You can hop into all kinds of different mini games with people, and the lobbies are like 70 people. And just the whole concept is super creative. I love it. The scenery feels like you're actually on a massive spaceship. And it's one of those games where you log in for one thing and then end up staying hours trying new modes. So I'm gonna put this into a high B, but just know that it's a very close A. Sail VR is exactly what it sounds like. It's a VR sailing adventure, yeah, similar to Sea of Thieves. It's got a chill vibe, but there's also action with pirate combat, exploring, and upgrading your ship. It's not the most polished game, but when you're in the middle of the ocean fighting another ship, it feels epic. It really does, guys. And there's sharks that appear when you fall in the ocean. There's like just all kinds of stuff. You can collect coins. So I definitely recommend this game. This game is definitely an A tier. I had a lot more fun than expected. Penguin Paradise is just weird in the best way. It's got that random VR charm where you're not entirely sure what's going on, but it's hilarious to play with friends. Sometimes when you spawn in, you might see a giant character or a tiny one like this one. There's tons of game modes, which is neat, but there's definitely a few things they can improve upon. It just feels a little cheesy or something. I don't know what it is. So this is a low B. Skelly is a quirky little game where you play as a skeleton. The movement mechanics aren't super complex. I mean, it's basically, you know, the Gorilla Tag mechanics, but it's actually quite similar to Penguin Paradise. Just, it feels more well-made. But I feel like it's just lacking a few things. And the community, unfortunately, isn't that big, but it's still worth checking out. If you're a fan of Gorilla Tag and Gorilla Tag copy games, then I'd still put this one in a B tier, right next to Penguin Paradise. Punch Party is actually kind of fun, and there aren't many glitches. The graphics are surprisingly good, and it just feels like a solid game overall. The only downside is that there's not a ton to it. Once you've played a few matches, you've basically seen it all. That said, it is a nice community. Every time we log in, there's always some kid like being kind and helping us. And like I said, it's built well. And it's great if you just want to let off some steam and punch some random guys in VR. Yeah, so the only thing I complain about is just the content that there's not enough of, but I'm gonna give it a C, a high C. Gorilla Soccer sounds way more fun than it actually is. I mean, the idea is cool, soccer and Gorilla Tag style movement, but it just doesn't have the same energy as other VR sports games. Yeah, the graphics feel awful. And I guess it is fun that you can like charge at people, get free kicks, and there's even yellow and red cards. But personally, I just didn't have the most fun in this game. I think I'm gonna give this one the first F tier, actually. Gorilla Royale is a really nice concept. I mean, imagine Fortnite mixed with Gorilla Tag. Yes, that's basically what it is. But even though it's supposed to be a combat game, it doesn't really feel like one. Because the mechanics are a little weird and sometimes stuff just randomly disappears. So it can be a little buggy, but besides all that, it's still fun. Like, I like games that, even though they're a little buggy, they're still fun to play. So I'm gonna give this game a B tier. Notice how all these games are inspired by Gorilla Tag except for Sail VR. Untangled. Yeah, this one just isn't it. I mean, the concept doesn't really work because it's supposed to be like Spider-Man in VR with multiplayer, which sounds really cool, but it's just not. It's super buggy. The gameplay isn't engaging, and it feels way more frustrating than it is fun. So yeah, I'm also gonna give this an F tier. This is probably worse than the Gorilla Soccer. Scary Baboon is actually pretty cute for a horror game. It's basically Gorilla Tag with a spooky twist. And you guys all heard of this. It's a pretty popular Gorilla Tag horror game. And it works surprisingly well, and it's fun to play too. I like the little creepy aspect to it. I mean, I wish it was a little bit more creepy. You know, the monsters are just there. I wish they were, you know, more hidden and a little bit more creepy ambiance to it. But nonetheless, it's still built well, and it's multiplayer. There's like tons of different game modes and cosmetics, and yeah, it's just a solid game overall. So I'm also gonna give this a B tier. Dread or Dead is a little similar to Scary Baboon in the sense that you have, you know, Gorilla Tag and horror. But the thing that makes Dread or Dead unique is that one player becomes the monster. Now, I'll be honest, I have played a few games where that's the case, where like one of the players can become a monster, but for some reason, it just works so well with this one. Everything creepy that I wanted Scary Baboon to be like, this nails it on the head. It's actually like very creepy. And if you find yourself alone roaming through the tunnels, yeah, you're gonna start pooping your pants. The monster has a microphone with a voice changer, and it can also see where the players are at. And you're not just simply running away, which I guess is what we're doing because we didn't really know how to play the game. But in reality, the objective is to mine different gold nuggets. And if every player mines all of them, you win. Sort of like Among Us, I guess. But trust me, I've never seen someone like this, and I'm thoroughly impressed. So I'm gonna give this a high B, close to Orion Drift. I may actually switch these around in just a second here. But now let's get into the more popular games. So right here we have Rec Room. Rec Room is a VR social hub with a ton of player-made games. There's lots of content. You can hang out, play paintball, do escape rooms, and just so much more. It's not the most realistic realistic gameplay, but it's made incredibly well and is super polished. It feels like the VR version of Roblox, I gotta be honest. But that's not a bad thing. I think it's actually pretty good. The creativity from the community still feels unmatched. So normally I would give this an S tier. However, I feel like lately Rec Room has just gone downhill with the lack of worlds and also with the lack of content being released, and also just the community is a little toxic. And not to mention, I don't know if it's just me and my brother when we play, but lately it's just been super buggy. Like Rec Room, what the heck is going on? Why can't we load into games normally like we used to? I don't know. Rec Room's kind of going downhill. I'm gonna give it a low A. It's probably closer to a B right now. It's still a great game nonetheless. There's a reason why it's so popular. AimXR is great for VR shooting practice. Fast-paced, competitive, and perfect if you want to get better at aiming in VR shooters. This game is basically Pavlov in a way, but for free. It's pretty fun. Not the most fun, I'm gonna be honest. It's kind of like a knockoff Onward, but Onward is just far superior. So yeah, this game is like basically playing like a Call of Duty game if you ever dreamed of playing it in VR, except it's like from Wish. So I'm gonna give this a C. Population 1 is VR's take on Fortnite in VR. Because yes, you shoot and you can build just like in Fortnite. However, what makes this game unique is climbing and gliding. You can climb pretty much any platform you see, and then if you jump off, you can glide away. And the vertical gameplay really makes it stand out from the other Battle Royale games. However, the only downside is, I mean, at least for me, I feel like there's a lot more bots in the games now, so winning a game, it's not the hardest thing ever. But they do have some different modes that keep things interesting, like the map where you can work at McDonald's. It's still an A tier game, I'm not gonna lie. VRChat is the ultimate VR social experience. You can join different worlds, roleplay, and basically become whoever you want. The creativity here is insane and entirely player driven. Personally, I'm not the biggest fan. I don't like a bunch of like anime people roaming around. It's probably not the most child-friendly game. So if you're a kid, stay away from the game. Yeah, and I don't really feel like just sitting in a virtual house socializing. I feel like it's kind of a waste of VR. But the game itself is good, you can't lie. I'm gonna give it a solid B tier. It's more personal though. Horizon Worlds is Meta's attempt at the metaverse. it's like their own version of VRChat in a way. However, I would say it's more of a hybrid between VRChat and Rec Room. And it's very clean looking. I'm not gonna lie. Like, come on guys, they got that going for them. It's very clean. Maybe it's a little too clean. It can kind of feel a little corporate. But you can create your own spaces, hang out, and try games that other people have made. But the content is lacking. It's not the most fun. I don't know. I'd say it used to be a C, but now I'm gonna give it a B. Blaston is like a slow motion bullet in VR. You and your opponent dodge, block, and fire shots in a small arena. Now, the fun part is a 1v1 gameplay where you have 3 rounds and you have to try to beat your opponent or lose. And the downside is there's not much else beyond that. But for what it is, it's made very well. Personally, I'm just not the biggest fan because very limited content. And I guess we are judging it based on, Punch Party. I was complaining about the same thing. So yeah, I'm gonna place it the same spot. But hold on, I would place it probably higher than that. Maybe like a high C. Yeeps is chaotic in the best way. You can control weird creatures in wacky obstacle courses, and it's more about laughing with friends and winning. I say out of all the Gorilla Tag knockoff games, Yeeps is definitely one of the better ones, and I've also seen some people saying that Gorilla Tag is copying from Yeeps. I'm tempted to put Yeeps at an A tier, but I think I'm just gonna put a high B tier. Among Us VR brings a classic Find the Imposter game, but in first person. So yeah, it's way more intense when you actually have to stand in a room with the person you sus. But playing this game is really interesting. I mean, I remember playing the 2D version back in, but playing in VR takes a whole different approach to it. I mean, there's nothing wrong with this game at all. I mean, it's just like Among Us, but in VR. So I'm gonna have to give it an A tier. The forest in VR is terrifying. You're stranded on an island after a plane crash, trying to survive against cannibals by building, crafting, and exploring. It's like a realistic version of Minecraft in a way. And that's what makes it stand out. It's just how realistic it feels. You're playing as an actual person in a survival situation. So unlike all these Gorilla Tag type games where you play as like fantasy characters, in VR, that realism cranks up the horror factor a bunch. However, I'm not gonna lie, it's just been a little like glitchy for me. Maybe I don't have the best computer. I think my computer is pretty good, but yet it still wasn't able to handle this game. So I think the forest in general is like an A tier, but in VR, personally, it's gonna go down a little bit. RC Planes lets you fly remote control planes in VR. It's very simple. It's relaxing and satisfying if you just want to chill. And the game does get a little bit more interesting in multiplayer. We can play it with different people and just have fun. And you can also crash into the plane, which adds a fun challenge. Personally, RC Plane, I mean, for what it is, it works. It's not your fun game. I would give it a C tier, but if you're into RC Planes, definitely check out this game. VR Legs is like hardcore in VR. And tag as well. You like tag other players. Yes, there always have to be that Gorilla Tag component to it. It is a pretty cool concept that makes the movement style very fun. But personally, I don't know. I don't think there's much to it besides just that, so I'm gonna give it a high C. put it right here. Before we get into the S tier game, so the game that I believe is the best game that you should be checking out right now, let's talk about a hidden gem. DigiGods has been a game that I've been looking at for quite a while now. And I'm not gonna lie, like at first, about a year or so ago, I wasn't entirely impressed with it. However, with time, they have definitely improved. The game looks a lot better now. Like I love the lobby and the different game modes they have, and the fact that you can create your own maps and have community created maps just makes it so much more fun. And you can decide to move like Gorilla Tag style or walk. And there's a bunch of different cosmetics, and yeah guys, I actually have my own cosmetic too. And you guys can go check it out and it'll be a way to support me. But yeah, overall it has just a bunch of different modes and it's pretty fun. Like I can get lost hours playing that game. So I'm gonna give this one a very high B. It's close to Yeeps. Like, I would put it the highest B. So it's actually comparable to Yeeps. I'm gonna put them at the same level. Now, for this final S tier game, yes, we have another Gorilla Tag inspired game, but this one I believe is the best because instead of gorillas, you have frogs and swords. So combine a combat game with frogs, and yeah, it's actually really fun. It's a lot more fun than we think. Not only because I haven't seen this Gorilla Tag style movement with combat before like this, but also because it's made very well. It's very polished. And on top of that, the whole medieval theme, like it's made very well. You can tell they had graphic designers behind this, and the colors just flow together nicely, and it's just very pleasing to look at. And if that wasn't enough, the community is actually great here. Usually I don't really care about the community because I just think, oh, I mean, they're all kind of the same. But the community actually does vary from game to game. And I couldn't stress this enough, but the community in Fros is far above every community I've seen in any game. The kids here are just super kind and friendly, and they just want to have fun. I never had a recording of Fros and not gone away with like tons of great content because of the community. This game is definitely underrated, so let's put it up here in the S tier game if I can put it. Why isn't it working? And there you have it, the tier list. Please don't forget to, yes, you already know what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say to subscribe. So just subscribe. Just do it at this point. I mean, right? If you already know what I was gonna say, just do it. Come on. You watched all the way over here. Just do it. Subscribe. And make sure to like as well. That'll help boost the algorithm. Tell me what you guys think about this. Do you guys agree with this list or not? Bye-bye.